Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser, and I'm going to do for you here today my Legion Grandblue deck. So I'm going to get started real quick. So I'm going to start with my zeros, I guess. For my trigger lineup, I'm doing 8 crits, and then 4 draw, and 4 heal. This clan has some really cool stand triggers with great effects, but I don't really like the stands a lot. Like, they're cool, like have really fantastic effects, but yeah. And I could go the 12 crit route, but I actually prefer the 8 and 4. So yeah, it's mostly a preference. I could totally see why you'd want to do 7 if you want to do 12 crit. That could work very well in Grandblue, but I prefer 4 draws. I actually like draw power. And then for my starter, I'm using the skeleton assault troops. I tried the Legion starting vanguard, where you move into the soul when you Legion call a card. He works okay, but one of the things in terms of like how I play Grandblue and how probably a lot of people who play Grandblue a lot, Grandblue creates a lot of advantage from its playstyle by its being able to play multiple grade 3s in a game. When it did its break ride, obviously the idea was you wanted to break ride as many times as possible, utilize your Night Mist. And even with Legion, the deck wants to ride multiple grade 3s so it can keep legioning. So over time, after playtesting the deck, I found that this guy works best for me, being able to just go get a grade 3 for me so I can keep riding more grade 3s. For my grade 1s, I have my 4 perfects. The quintet wall, it seems cool, like in Grandblue at first, in theory, but once you actually get down to trying it out, it's not actually that good. The problem with it is that for a quintet wall to like help the deck in terms of strategy, you'd want to use it early game to fill up that drop zone and give you stuff. However, like wasting a quintet wall that early, because you only get 4 sentinels in your deck, and if you waste one of them early game on like an easy to block attack, late game you're going to be kind of screwed since you don't have that great defense to block the attack. So I'm running 4 perfects. I don't think there's actually any decks I usually have that like quintet walls. I just don't think they're very good. Next, I'm going to talk about one of the most important like cards for the deck, I feel, and that's that I'm running 3 Evil Shades. Now, most of you are used to thinking of this card as it's a poop card because it only boosts the Vanguard and it mills, and milling in general in Vanguard is kind of bad. However, in the Legion deck, the way this deck runs, it's not a problem. In fact, I find this card to be really good. If I don't get it, I'm actually very sad. That's why I'm running 3. I've almost considered bumping it to 4, but so every time you boost, you can mill 2 to get +4. So it lets you early game make your Vanguard hit really hard, so they can't like block it. And that milling helps a lot with the deck. It helps you get to where you can Legion really soon by dropping stuff, as well as filling up the drop zone. That's one of the things. Like, this card was never good before because the Legion mechanic wasn't around, and especially since in this build you're running like 8 Legions, so it's not really a problem. It's actually very beneficial. So this guy runs really good. Then next, I am doing 3 Dancing Cutlass. Now, this might seem weird to some people, and you might like write this off right away, but don't do it. Please be open-minded about it and actually think about it. At first, I was just gonna play the Banshee instead of the Cutlass, because why wouldn't you? In design, the card seems just like better. However, Banshee was kind of like not working really well because I could only get her like by reviving her, and there were times where I'd revive when I'm reviving stuff, because this deck doesn't revive as many cards as the Break Ride build does all at once, and the cards like don't die like the Break Ride one does. So I actually started using Cutlass just because I had a hunch, and it works out much better in this deck. And it's not just that like it's less situational in terms of being able to trigger the effect. It's the fact that Soul Blast 2, the fact that it Soul Blasts more cards has actually proven to be better for the deck. So that's why I'm doing this. And you can always, he's weak, but you can always obviously swap him out like you do in Grandblue. Speaking of which, for my last grade 1, actually it's not the last, I'm just going to get the last 2 done. I'm running 2 Nightmare and 2 Samurai. To be honest, I kind of like the Nightmares more, which seems actually more ironic since you have this Soul Blast 2 and this Soul Blast 2. But because you keep Legioning, overriding grade 3 and Legioning again with the way the deck runs, you have actually a pretty good amount of soul. I'm running 2 of each just for the more situational options, so I have options. It's run well. I actually like the Nightmare more though. For the grade 2 lineup, I'm doing sorry, a little disorganized at the moment. For Blanc, Blanc is a really cool card. When you Legion, you can just counterblast 1 and call her. She's really cool. She's just like a free body to the field for counterblast 1. She's really cool. And then I'm running 3 Ghoul Dragon. Ghoul Dragon is like, his effect seems cool like in design, but it's not really that good. To be completely honest, the only reason I run him at all is so I can Legion with him. As a card by himself, he's kind of not that good. I would play other things if it wasn't for the fact I need him for a Legion. Then I'm doing 3 of my favorite Grandblue card, Pietro. He's your on-hit damage unflipper. This deck can have a need to reflip damage, so that's why he's here. And then my last grade 2, I'm running 1 Deadly Spirit. I didn't think I would play him, and he's kind of like a more recent addition I've added to the deck. And I'm only running the 1 because he's not something you need a ton, but there are a bunch of times where I've had played the deck where you get to a late game point where you need to do a Soul Blast so that you can put stuff back that you need to keep the deck running. But if all you have is like your Deadly Nightmare, you end up like having 2 grade 1s in the same column. So that's why I put him in here. It sounds weird, but it's just like after a lot of playtesting, these very weird odd number ratios and situational things have come up for me. So, and then for my grade 3 lineup, which is pretty obvious at this point, I'm doing 4 of the newer, I think that's how you say it, and then 4 of the Necrobolt. A lot of people, I think, underestimate and just look over this card. Necrobolt is actually really cool. The fact that he gets that boost, so it makes him hit good numbers, and then the fact that you get to attack with a card and then have Necrobolt attack, counterblast 1, retire that card that's already attacked, revive a guy. Necrobolt actually does a lot of work. He's a really good card. You can even even if you don't play both of these, you could totally make a deck just utilizing Necrobolt with some other stuff, maybe even the Break Ride. This card's really good. Don't overlook it. Most people just go straight to this guy, which he's cool, but Necrobolt puts in more power moves, whereas this guy's just better for early game or recovery after your field's been torn apart. So yeah. that's it for that. Thank you for watching.